And that's why I just allow me a second. Yeah. That's why, I got very shocked. Personally, I didn't attend because I was just about to ask you about because that. I had better things to do with my time. Mm-hmm. That is why when the president talked about dueling of so many roads, and then the members were thumping and, they were in applause. Then you are applauding promises. How many promises have been kept? Have been made before and have not been kept. Right. So this is a parliament where a law will be brought. So it will pass, I can tell you, and there will be no, controls or safeguards on how these amounts of monies will be expended, or actually whether they'll be taken to this fund or not. So that is the situation that we have.
Obiya, we read double taxation. I don't know if you read the same. We read promises that are have not been kept so far. And let here and forgive us, by the way, when we get confused about ODM and UDA. Given the dalliance, it's confusing for us Kenyans, but do I say? So, looking at the president's state of the address yesterday,
yes,
what are your takes? Because our economy, he says, has been fixed. Do you opine the same?
Thank you. Can you allow me to have a right of reply?
No, please.
And first indulge of my good senator here. It's interesting. We are not so privileged to be members of parliament like he is. It's interesting that a serious elected member of parliament, in this case the Senate, my good friend here, Senator Nyutu, is committing that indeed parliament is under siege, is in hostage by the executive. My understanding on the standing orders of both parliaments is that parliament is very independent, and all members, our current laws, the Constitution of 2010, there's no opposition and there's no executive in parliament, any parliament. All members stand to oversight parliament across the political divide. Either you are elected as independent, a party that did not form the government, or a party that formed the government. So I think it is a collective and individual responsibility of all members of parliament to oversight government, that is the executive. And I think it needs to first take responsibility individually and collectively that the legislature has failed Kenyans in oversighting the executive. So Senator Nyutu, next time when you speak, first, I believe as a citizen and a Kenyan of good mind, of sound mind, we want to see our members of the legislature taking responsibility that they have failed. And how I pray, that people who are strong like you would be bold enough and resign from their elective positions and seek fresh mandate from their constituents. That would show commitment to the narratives that you stand for, that you speak daily. As much as it is important to criticize the government, and I love the energy that my friend here and Sako has on criticizing the government, that is indeed welcome. But I pray, you mentioned that President Ruto came up with the affordable housing project, including areas that they are not necessary. As an elected leader, like which areas have you done a public participation across the cities and the towns in Kenya? Have you, and how many towns you've met citizens that they have told you we did not need this project in this area? In order of priority, we would have prioritized on project XY. And I think most citizens, like where I come from in Homa Bay, we are so blessed by the administration of President Ruto. The affordable housing, which is 100% done and 100% occupied, it is so welcome. The road
how many of those? Sorry?
How many of those?
It has 1,000 units.
1,000 units, yes, in Homa Bay.
In Homa Bay town.
Completed
100% done and 100% occupied.
Under what mechanism? How did these individuals get into these homes? Or families?
The families. Mm-hmm. The acquisition of affordable housing it's too open, and it's open to the public knowledge. You go through Boma Yetu, within the NHC website. You do an application and first come, first serve.
Did these 1,000 people in these 1,000 units go through Bomayangu, make the application, pay the 10%, and then get the facility? They did?
The website for NHC through Bomayangu, it's open to public for.
I am aware.
For scrutiny.
My question is.
Yes.
Did these individuals? You seem to know quite a bit about it.
Yes.
Did these families in Homa Bay?
Yes.
Do this application, because I know very well the application. Did they do the application, all of them get approved, and then move in and are currently paying this monthly amount to live in the homes?
My understanding is there's no one who can acquire any affordable housing asset without due diligence. That's my understanding.
So did they do this in order for them to be inhabitants of
my
these
sister,
homes?
there's nobody in any part of the Republic that can acquire affordable housing unit without due diligence.
So they did it. It's simple.
Yes,
you can say they did.
They did it.
They did it.
You can't acquire without due diligence.
So they did it.
Yes.
Okay. So how would you understand that in order for that to happen, so it looks as though that's taken care of, right? And it continues to be one that they can live in. Because this is one issue that he did bring up in the State of the Nation yesterday. So the monies that then are deducted from individuals with a pay slip every month, where does that money go? If we're seeing such great uptake of the affordable housing scheme, where does the money that a working individual is deducted from every month go?
I wouldn't want to really indulge much better into that, being that, number one, I'm not a member of the National Housing Corporation, NHC. As a consumer and as a resident in Homa Bay, I would kindly elaborate to the extent of
your knowledge,
my knowledge as a consumer,
all right,
and as a resident, and just allow me to pick up from where I left. My good friend here also spoke about promises. That the president is very good with promises. I want to tell you, as a social scientist, my brother, that the world is very hopeless. Globally.
The word promise or the world?
The world. The world is very hopeless. And the human race, basically, from time immemorial, is managed and run on positive promises. Without having hopes in life, the humankind would easily give up. And, the mental wellness of society requires that people in leadership, both in church, government, and social levels, at community levels, should run the world, number one, on giving the humankind hope. And I as an individual, I would encourage him and all people who are charged with responsibility of guiding societies to keep on giving humankind hope. And in this case, as a consumer in Homa Bay, he spoke about dams. I want to thank the government of President Ruto for giving us a serious water infrastructure in Homa Bay. We have the Atemo Dam, that is 100% completed, that has got 30 million cubic meter in Wire Hills. And what we are waiting for is the last mile. That is, we are hopeful that the county government of Governor Wanga would complete the last mile so that every designated community centers will start receiving fresh water for consumption. So as a resident and a consumer in Homa Bay, and by extension, better part of Nyanza Luo region, we strongly, I want to tell you that the last 1.5 years, we have seen the good deeds of the administration of President.
Why do you think that is?
we are consumers, number one. We are also taxpayers. Historically, Nyanza region, we've had situations before when the administration of President Ruto, where President Daniel Arap Moi, when it was widely mentioned that siasa mbaya maisha mbaya, and it is also on record that people from my region have stood for and fought strongly for civic liberties, civil liberties, and also for good governance in this country. and that for a very long time, my region have not had a direct touch with deliverables from the national government. And as we speak now, I want to strongly tell you, as a permanent resident of Nyanza region, that indeed President Ruto has done so much in this short period.
Thank you for letting us know that. However, Obuya,
yes, please.
How I wish many Kenyans echoed your sentiments. But that's not the case.
Yes.
Most people are disgruntled by the same regime you are praising. But we are a constitutional country.
Yeah.
We are led by the rule of law. We are not led by the whims and the wishes of a president who says this region. You are shy of saying what you're talking about is as a result of the broad-based, which was a compromise on the sovereign will of the people. But that's a conversation.
I didn't say as a result of broad-based.
You did not. I'm just saying you're shy of. The 1.5 years you're talking about is the existence of the broad-based. But now, it's proper that we talk to facts, because when we speak to these microphones, the people of Homa Bay can hear you. The people of the Luo Nyanza region can hear you. They can say that the 1,000 units are not from the avoidable housing project. They are from the National Housing Corporation, which had been started way before this regime came into office. Water is a devolved function. It should not take a president visiting and making pledges in your region for you to have water. The governor, whom you've had for the last 13 years, may not be the same person, but you've had a county administration for the last 13 years as the Homa Bay, Siaya, Kisumu, and all the other counties from that region. They've had governors. So water, agriculture, education, and all other devolved functions ought to have manifested. So if you've had bad and poor leadership, that is on the people of that region. When it comes to this regime, and we are looking at what needs to happen, development has to be equitably distributed. So every part of the country deserves that. But do you think, in your assessment, that people are being unfair when they say that the president is not speaking to the reality of the real Kenya?
The question is, in this case, which people have you interviewed? And Kenya is big. And when these said people, at what point did they realize that the present government does not equitably represent all sections of the nation?
I'll give you an example.
The revolution of the Gen Z.
Last week, I'll tell you who has realized that, and then maybe Senator Nyutu can speak to this. The person who's realized that is the person who's trekked for 4 hours in Mandera, in this country, and has to get water seeping out of a hole in the ground.
Very unfortunate.
That happens in Kenya. The same Kenya that you're talking about, where there's equitable provision of resources. Somebody is existing in that same space today and has to look for some clouded water to go and feed, cook, take care of her children. That's happening in Kenya today. That's the person you're asking about. How would we balance the two? Those are the people who are complaining.
My sister, Rome wasn't built in a day. And at any time, any day, I would give President Ruto a benefit of doubt. Number one, me being a member of UDA does not take away my conscience as a father and as a citizen. First, I'm a citizen who believes in the rule of law. And I want to tell you that being that I've been around, I saw actively President Daniel Moi, his administration. I saw President Mwai Kibaki. I closely saw the administration of President Uhuru Kenyatta. And I am seeing the administration of William Ruto. I am telling you, any day I would choose William Ruto. Because as much as, the way all levels of infrastructure
in Kenya, be it water, be it road infrastructure, the economic infrastructure, the previous governments have had serious biasness in leveraging the economy of communities across Kenya. And it is important to know that, our diversity should be our strength as a nation. And if you look at the way the economic infrastructure of sections of Kenya from the previous governments was unfairly distributed. And if you look at what President Ruto has taken the bull by the horns, which makes people who own big infrastructure, in this case including communication infrastructure, the media industry, people who shape opinions of communities, because like you are the moderators in this studio, you have your directors, people who shape programs for every day in your studios. Who are these people? And if you look deeply, who the last 10, 15, 20 years, who owns the communication infrastructure? You have the answer. And there's so somebody said, if you want to kill a dog, you give it a bad name. And initially, President Ruto is someone who has survived. One, he was profiled, he was labeled a thief, he was labeled corrupt. And fighting that stigma with a new administration. And it is on record when former deputy president, when President Ruto and himself was being sworn in Kasarani, Rigiji, it is on record, he mentioned that they are taking up a government with empty coffers.
Empty coffers. Now, let me come in, Obuya, because what you, as Senator,
how I pray,
yes,
that Senator Nyutu tells me.
Yes, he's coming in to tell us, because what you have described is nothing short of an autocracy, nothing short of a dictatorship. That's not the kind of a constitution we are served with, where a president is all supreme and even extends to control the media station. The fourth estate has to be respected. But Senator, earlier on we were having a conversation about the economy and how the economy has been fixed, allegedly, and the various sectors that have been mentioned. And one of the things we looked at was the agriculture sector. Murang'a County is a major producer of the avocado fruits.
Yes.
And we were doing just a short survey, how much it's going for. And we know one of the most unappreciated are the farmers, because they get less than 10 shillings for a fruit. But in the market, things are changing. From your point of view, do you feel, across now other sectors, doesn't have to be agriculture, that what the president was talking about, there are things we could say that literally this has changed, and indeed the cost of living has changed, and this is where we are, and perhaps we are being unfair, or indeed Kenyans are disgruntled based on how they are living their lives day to day, and it is different from what the president reported yesterday. Then if you have a rejoinder to Obuya, please.
Thank you. And I think I'm disappointed that you have allowed Ken to convert a discussion about the state of the nation to a discussion of what has happened in Nyanza and to a discussion about President Ruto, how good he is. I mean, we are discussing the state of the nation address as delivered by President Ruto yesterday. Not what has happened in Nyanza. It is what has happened in Kenya. And so I'm a little disappointed. But before I come to the avocado situation in Murang'a County, which I represent in the Senate, it's important that I tell Ken, he started by saying that he was disappointed that as an elected member of Parliament in the Senate, that I am lamenting about the capture of the said 2 houses by government, and that I should resign. Now, Ken should know, and everybody should know, that when the majority have their way, the minority have their say. I only said that the majority will have their way, but we will remain there so that our say can continue being heard. So it is not the right thing to tell those of us who do not support the regime that we should resign from parliament is captured. We are only saying that the majority have been captured. But for those of us who are in the minority, we'll continue being there so that we can continue having our say, although we may not have our way. The other thing is, and I don't want to dwell much on the, lack of independence of parliament, but we have seen, parliamentarians, proposing and supporting Adani so vehemently. But when again the president comes during the last State of the Nation address last year, when he comes and says that those deals have been cancelled, the same members who are supporting the programs again now then stand up in parliament and gives the president an ovation, a standing ovation, and tells him igwe. So then you are left wondering, exactly, does the president think for them or what is happening? Because if he says something is good, then you are all over saying how good it is. Then the same president comes and says, hello, we have decided we will cancel this. I think it is not good. Then now you are there. That is what I'm talking about, Ken, that you cannot rely on a house that again, you know what happened with the finance bill. He passed it against the wishes of Kenyans. Then the president calls them in State House, says, come on, I will not ascend, or I'm cancelling this finance bill. Then they are there again clapping. So what type of a house is that? So you cannot tell me to resign. And it's important that we, this thing about affordable housing, has so many questions that, Ken has just scratched the surface. There are so many questions, Ken. This, first of all, should we be putting up affordable housing using a levy, which is a tax, or social housing? Because in my understanding, I think if you are going to use taxes, you get your time. If you are because housing, it's a housing levy, not a fund. If you are using a levy, then it should be probably to improve the standards of living of those who are
which is what a levy would do ordinarily.
Yes, and so we may not have enough time to look at this, but it's a levy, it's not a fund. When we finally then again sell these houses, and you'll get your time. I was very patient again. No. Please wait. I waited.
Let's allow that to conclude.
Yeah. Yes. So we don't want to talk about this. We cannot finish that. Then it's important that I tell my very good friend Ken that when you say that President Ruto should continue giving empty promises to give hope to Kenyans, no, you said that the world is hopeless. We need people who will inspire hope, and I agree with you. But then a president is supposed to deliver. If you want to just inspire hope in people, then the right place to do that is the pulpit. You just go and become a pastor, and then you can inspire hope as your occupation. But when you are president of Kenya, with the massive powers to even actually determine where our resources, our taxes, how they will be spent, then you cannot inspire hope. You must deliver. That is something that is very important for us to say. And you cannot say that resources by past presidents have been distributed in a way that was not even. Ndu has told you about that child, that woman in Mandera. You cannot call, some bias towards Nyanza even distribution of resources. We are talking about the nation here, not a particular region. But allow me then to talk about this avocado in Murang'a.
Yes, please.
I know agriculture is devolved in matters like those, but there was some protest in Murang'a sometimes back, I think last year, when actually Kenya Revenue Authority officers came to the ground and wanted to and actually told people that they were introducing a tax, farmers, and everybody knows that was it was widely reported, and farmers actually protested against that. So government has not brought in any incentives to these farmers, whether in terms of maybe input, in terms of maybe training of farmers to give them maybe through agricultural extension officers or something like that. But then they want to come and tax the farmer. Of course, I know it was temporarily halted, but We have not seen